Hello, it's Christine Faulkner, Sacramento Living Trust lawyer, Elk Grove estate planning attorney with Cava and Faulkner. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Christine's Family Wealth Secrets. And today, you've got to check out part 2 of the mistakes that Aretha Franklin made, the Queen of Soul, in her estate planning. So if you haven't created a plan or thinking of maybe doing it yourself, or you have created a plan but haven't looked at it for a while, this video is for you. And like I said, check out the article because there's much more detail in the article. So here's the thing about what's going on with Aretha Franklin's estate. So it's been over 2 years since she passed away from pancreatic cancer. And Aretha had plenty of money to work with, probably the best lawyers that money could buy. And it looks like she started to do that at the end, but before that, she relied upon handwritten wills, her own wills that she created, basically doing it herself. And so the sad thing about the entire situation is what's happening with her family. Not only are they tied up in court, there is a huge IRS bill, and all of the money that is going to be eventually freed up for the foreseeable future is going to go to pay off that tax debt. And her family is actually getting access to very, very little money. So, one of the things to think about, number one, is making sure that you're working with the appropriate professionals who can help you plan not only for your life and your eventual death, but also for your current taxes, so that your family are not kind of footing the bill or holding the bag after you pass away with this huge tax debt. So, certainly important if you want to make sure that your children don't end up paying having the consequences of your income tax debt, or whatever is owed. Many families don't want their families to be having to pay any kind of income tax or tax that they owe. They want to make sure that that's taken care of during their lifetime. So work with the appropriate professionals to get your tax situation in order so that your family isn't left with this huge tax burden, which Aretha's family is. Additionally, this estate is going to be tied up in court for years, and what that means is a loss of privacy and, of course, a huge delay. But, there are real lessons to learn from do-it-yourself planning, writing your own will, and the pitfalls of doing that, especially when you've got such a sizable estate, you've got, a lot of assets. So Aretha had a special needs child, and writing her own will just did not cut the mustard when it came to protecting him. She might have thought that creating a will and writing out her plan was, doing the right thing by him. But in truth, when you have a special needs child, it is so important that you create a plan, usually involving a special needs trust, that enables them to continue to qualify for their public benefits. And what is so important many times is, yes, the benefits that allow them to continue in their housing, to support their standard of living, but also for Medicare to continue getting, Medicare medical benefits to provide the necessary treatment for whatever their needs may be. If you leave money outright, you may disqualify a Social Security recipient, Social Security disability. If you have a special needs child that you're leaving money to, it can actually disqualify them for those benefits. And that can be devastating to continuity of care. So, unfortunately, what should have happened is Aretha should have worked with an attorney, because she clearly needed a fairly high level of sophistication in her planning to protect her family, the people that she loved the most. But unfortunately, although it looked like that was just starting, it never came to fruition. And certainly creating just a will alone was never going to be enough to protect her privacy or her family and keep them out of court. And so unfortunately, they're going to be tied up in probate for years, paying creditors, paying the IRS. But then also her son is highly likely to be disqualified from any benefits, public benefits that he receives because a special needs trust was not created for him. And that could have allowed him to have his lifestyle augmented in a serious way by this money that his mother left for him, but didn't belong to him outright, and certainly did not disqualify him from public benefits. So she would have needed to work with an estate planning attorney who had the level of sophistication to help her create that special needs planning for her son. Unfortunately, a will doesn't do that. And while you can create what's called a testamentary trust that pops up after you die from the language that's in your will, doing it yourself, generally, most people are not going to know that they need to create that type of testamentary trust in their actual will. So, the moral of the story here is if you want to keep your family out of court, if you want to protect your privacy, even if you have just a fraction of what Aretha had, if you have a special needs child, go the extra distance and seek out a qualified attorney who can really help you with this planning to make sure that all of your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. And so ultimately, if you become incapacitated or pass away, your family is going to be fully and completely protected, and you have that peace of mind of knowing that you have created a really comprehensive, robust plan, and no stone has been left unturned. And so what does that mean for you? It means that ultimately, I think you have the peace of mind of knowing that you've created a plan that meets your family's needs, but more importantly, that's going to keep them out of court and protect them in a way that you have designed. So such a powerful thing to create a plan and to know that you have that within your power to actually determine the outcome for your beneficiaries. Many times with do-it-yourself planning, there are so many pitfalls that most folks are completely unaware of, and they might really sleep well at night thinking they have a complete plan when in reality, it all falls apart for their family after they pass away. So check out our article to read more details about the mistakes Aretha made. And you don't need to have that kind of money. And in fact, we've seen that so many people who are really wealthy sometimes never take the time to create a plan for the people that they love in their life. And in the end, their families suffer for it. That does not have to be you. You can actually create a loving, thoughtful, comprehensive plan that meets all of your needs, many of which you might not really even be aware of. There's a lot of intricacies with planning, all kinds of different planning, whether it's for incapacity or after you pass away. And that's what estate planning attorneys are there to do, is to give you that education, look at what you have, and give you the best guidance to create the kind of plan you need, the exact plan that you need to protect yourself and your family. So check out the article, pretty eye-opening. Don't let that be you. Don't make the same mistakes as Aretha Franklin made in her life. Don't think about, when you read the article, what that feels like for you as you're reading it and hearing about what's happening now for her family. And she's no longer here to experience these painful, both revelations and, dealings with the government. It's left to her children to have to kind of fend for themselves, unearth all of the undone matters that she left in her life, and see how that feels for you. I bet, like me, it doesn't feel good to think, oh my gosh, not only are all of my secrets, things that I didn't want to deal with maybe in life, going to come out, but my family is going to have to sort through all of this basically for me because I didn't do it myself. And Think about how that feels compared to knowing that you partnered with an estate planning attorney to create a really powerful plan for your family, so that they don't have a single thing to worry about if you're not around. And hopefully that helps you to sleep at night as well. Like our channel, subscribe as well. If you like our content, let us know what we can tell you more about. We're happy to produce content for you. Have a great rest of your Monday. Take care. Bye.